If I would have asked you, Patrick, back in 2017 when you retired, when you said, I'm done, even though you probably could have still played and you were going to go down this media route, that it would have turned out like this the next, 4 to 5 years, would you have believed me? Has this exceeded your expectations?
I think to break kayfabe, I mean, you're still a sack of shit. I mean, let's not, you know what I mean? No, I'm joking. I'm a big fan of yours. I've been very thankful that you have come into our lives. I think you're a hysterical and an incredibly hard worker, which is maybe the biggest compliment I can give anybody. So I'm proud of you, Ariel, and I'm very thankful to be here and excited about it. I think I knew that there was going to be, I don't want to say I knew. I thought there was going to be a good chance for success just because I was looking around the sports media landscape and there wasn't a lot of people like me. I was getting a great opportunity while I was playing the game to do shows like Bob and Tom, which is a nationally syndicated morning show here in Indianapolis, Indiana, where they have, I think they're on like 100 some stations, comedians come through, and I got to guest host that like once a week. So I kind of got my chops a little bit. I did a stand-up comedy tour while I was still playing. I had a merch business while I was still playing. I got to do some media, and I had a lot of success, and I was feeling true fulfillment out of that as opposed to just kicking balls. So I don't know if I would have expected this. But I think I knew that there was a chance for some success at some point, and I'm very lucky for the people that I've met along the way, yourself included, that I could kind of learn from, watch, kind of do my own thing, and continue to mold in this. It's a modern day gold rush, which is what the internet is right now, and I'm just enjoying the hell out of it, brother.
Why did you pause the stand-up comedy? Because that seemed to be a big thing when you walked away, but obviously you don't do it anymore. I know you don't have a lot of free time, but why did you stop doing that?
Yeah, because I'm not great at it. Like I can't. I mean, obviously, every show I've ever done, standing ovation multiple times. I mean, I feel like everybody's got their money's worth. I had a lady shit her pants in the crowd one time. I mean,
Legit?
it has. Yeah, shoot.
Wow.
Yeah, shoot.
Wow.
Yeah, she had to get kicked out. I didn't find out until I was walking off the stage, and my friends that were there were like, yo, a lady had to get escorted out of here because she actually shit her pants. And I was like, are you kidding me? They're like, no. So I had to go back out, obviously, and give a thank you to the crowd. Ball State, chirp, chirp up here in Muncie. They were wild. They were very intoxicated, but all my crowds knew me, So it was a celebration. It was a party. I couldn't do the same story. And I think this is the incredibly impressive thing about stand-up comedians and why I inevitably was like, I need to not do that anymore until I'm better at it, because they have this ability to craft a story and deliver the story with the same enthusiasm, emotion, and jokes and everything like that. I was just going up there. And literally, a lot of the times, other than the tour that I did, which was 4 straight cities and 4 nights, and by the 3rd night, I was already sick of all the material. I was already like, this is not funny. I'm over this. I was literally telling these stories to a public forum for the first time when I was going on stage. So I had a 6,000 seat theater I sold out in Purdue, and I was the first time I was going up there was telling all these stories. So it was kind of like, living in the deep end of a pool, and it went well. My fans were incredibly nice to me, but whenever you watch people like Chappelle and Burr, and you start doing, and Tom Segura and guys that I look up to a lot, I watch, I'm like, all right, I'm not going to disrespect the stage until I have time to put together a real one. So I think that is why I kind of stepped away from it. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I had a lot of fun with it. I rented the theaters myself, sold the tickets myself. So it was a pretty profitable business too, if I was ever to get back into it. But I feel like I should respect the stage a little bit more. You know what I mean, Ariel?
Absolutely. When you were when you were a kid growing up, obviously you had aspirations to make it to the NFL. You were a football player. You were an athlete. Did you watch, emulate, study broadcasters as well? When I was a kid, I tried to copy Marv Albert, Bob Costas, these guys, because I didn't think that I was good enough to make it to the NBA. I wanted to be like them. That's why I went to Syracuse. Did you do the same thing, or did you only kind of catch the broadcasting bug towards the end of your career and thus allowed you to retire early?
So this sounds, and by the way, I think you've done a great job, and people are looking up to Ariel Helwani now, which is wild to think about. I assume for you. Yeah, especially, because we're talking in your basement right now, and that whole thing. But there's a lot of people looking up to you now. And I think that's incredible, especially in the broadcast and journalism world. For me, growing up, all I wanted to be was rich. I didn't care how it was, what it was. There was moments in time, and I think people have seen me do a lot of different things now. And that's because for a certain stage of my life, I wanted to do that because I knew that the end game was a lot of money. So this sounds so incredibly shallow, but it's real. And this isn't like a woe is me thing, but I grew up in a family with not a lot of cash. I mean, my dad was a truck driver. My mom was a secretary, grew up in a very small house at the bottom of a hill in a hilly town. I mean, this is legit there, right? So I always I wanted to be rich. So if I watched Monday Night Raw every single Monday, and I saw guys like Ric Flair, and I saw The Rock and Stone Cold, and it was the Attitude Era and Triple H, and I knew they were making a lot of money. I was like, ooh, I feel like I'm athletic. I got a pretty good personality, and they're making money. I want to do that. I saw comedians. Oh, they're making a lot of money. I want to do that. I wanted to be a soccer player for a long time, played overseas a few times. I mean, that was my main sport. I knew they made a lot of money. Then once I started kicking footballs, I was like, okay, this feels like the right decision. My parents and I actually had to like have a business conversation because I had, I don't know, about 100x the amount of schools interested in me for soccer than for football. And it felt like the right decision. I was going to kicking camps when I was in high school, and there was nobody that could kick the ball like me. I got a chance to kick a ball with Jeff Reed, who was the kicker of the Steelers, and I was bombing it over his head as a high schooler. And I was like, okay, this guy made a lot of money doing this. I potentially could do this if everything lines up. So literally all my goals were so I could make some money and hopefully get my family some freedom. And the kicking aspect just ended up being the right one. And then now I'm getting a chance to dabble with all the dreams that I've had. And I'm incredibly lucky, just one of the most incredibly lucky humans of all time, Ariel.
When you don't often hear people say, I don't really care what it is, I just want to be rich, I just want to make money. Was that because I would imagine as a kid, maybe you didn't have the things that other kids had? You felt like you were lesser than, like, how tough was that? Were you around kids who had money and you felt like you were an outcast?
No, I mean, not a lot of my friends were like rich kids, but like, I don't know, watching your mom, and this Sally is one of the sweetest souls on earth. So like, I think this range true even more, but like when you got to put something on layaway, that's like $100, or like your credit card's about to get declined, and I'm sitting there with her in public, and I know my mom is feeling potentially anxiety while the credit card's being run, like it's those moments. And this is, once again, I am not saying anything like that, but it's those things I think that continue to happen where I was like, okay, I want to go. Like I got a chance to play soccer with a lot of kids that potentially had a lot of money, either from the other side of town or from other states that I got to play with, and just watching how they went about their lives and live their lives. And then watching on TV, Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, Wild On, I think with Brooke Burke on E.
Legend,
I would see all these things on TV, and I'm like, okay, I want to go do all these things. And the only way you can do all these things is if you have money. So not only like the anxiety of my parents or certain things, my dad like remortgaged the house like 5-6 times so that I could continue to play sports. So not only that, but also like, I want to go live and experience things. So it sounded so bad. And my teachers literally in my school hated me, like almost every one of them. I only had a good relationship with like 3-4 of my teachers, because what do you want to be when you grow up is a question that is asked. And, some of my peers would say like, oh, I want to be a teacher. And they were like, oh, you're such a good person. Like, and I'm like, I agree. You are a good person. And I have family members that are firemen and EMS and paramedic and everything like that. And they're incredible people and everything like that. But I've seen our holidays as well. It's not like, you know what I mean? We're not like celebrating and giving the biggest gifts of all time. So I've always appreciated everybody, but all I ever really wanted was to make money so I could kind of take care of everybody and live and experience things. And I've been very fortunate to do that.
Are you a smell the flowers kind of guy? Because now I follow you on Instagram, of course, and I see every Friday you're taking a PJ from the show to SmackDown, and it seems like you have a pretty good life. It seems like you're very comfortable. Do you ever sit back while you're on that plane flying back from a SmackDown show? I mean, you're like, holy smokes, I had nothing. You're talking about the credit card and all that, and now I'm on a private plane being chauffeured here. Like, do you have those moments where you just can't believe that it all turned out the way you wanted it to turn out?
Every day of my life, dumbest life of all time. I think everybody has heard me say it, and it's a real thing. And I think the dumbest life of all time is me kind of taking it all in for a little bit. And the private jet has to happen because Indianapolis only has like flights to like 5 cities. So if I was to still do my show and then go to SmackDown, I would have to leave on like Wednesday to make it to wherever. So being in Indiana is a gift and a curse in a couple of different situations. Traveling is tough, but the private plane situation, when I'm flying on there, when I got my guys with me and they're flying on private planes as 25-year-olds, 26-year-olds, 24-year-olds, it's just full slapdicks. We're flying around on this thing and we're showing up and we're getting a chance to go talk to Vince McMahon, and all the people over there. It's the dumbest life of all time. I literally try to enjoy every single day. And I don't know if we'll get to this, but that is one of the biggest factors into me retiring from the NFL when I probably could have played for another 10 years if I really wanted to, as I wasn't enjoying it anymore. So, I watched my dad wake up and go to work for not a lot of money very early, come home, take me to practice, work his ass off, do everything he does. And I never saw him like happy, it seemed like. So I was always like, I'm going to enjoy what I'm doing. I'm always going to enjoy my life. And as soon as I don't, you're probably going to see me make a change. And that's been kind of routine through my entire life. So yeah, I'm trying to smell the flowers every single day, man. I'm trying to smoke the flowers and enjoy the flowers every single day, man. That's what I try to do.
We'll get to the retirement in a second. But considering you put that kind of pressure on yourself, not to just succeed, but to get all this money, to become rich and famous, when you're in college,
I don't want to be famous. I never wanted to be famous.
There's a difference to you?
Oh yeah.
But if you want to become a sports star, inevitably you are famous.
Yeah, but when I was a punter, I mean, I'd go out to the bars, I guess they call it what Nate would do. I'd buy 100 shots for everybody in the bar, for all my friends. Everybody just thought I was some son of a rich guy, some drunk frat kid who just had his dad's credit card. It was awesome. Nobody really had a clue who I was. And then I got arrested and my mugshot got projected to everybody in Indiana, and my life changed that complete day. But I just wanted money so I could take care of everybody and have a good time. The fame, I mean, there's a lot of rappers that say you can keep the fame or whatever. I'll take the money. I'd never really, and my wife and I have been talking about this. There's some people on the internet, I think, in this kind of the world of the internet, attention is the money, right? Like if you have attention on you on the internet, that probably means that you're, doing things and moving the needle and becoming that. I don't need the attention. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with the attention. Like if I'm going to have the attention, I'm cool with it, but I don't need it. It's not like what I'm yearning for. Everything for me is just basic freedom for my people. That's all I'm really looking for. My people, I mean, family, friends, and everything like that.
Feel a lot of pressure though in college. Like I have to make it because I put all this time and effort into this, and this is my ticket to get rich. And if you could get nailed, your knee blows out, the whole career, comes crashing down. Did you feel like you were putting too much pressure on yourself at some point? It all worked out, but that's a lot to say, hey, I need to do this. I need to succeed in order to get rich, to help all these people around me.
Yeah. And my parents never really expected it from me. They never put that pressure on me. So I don't think I ever felt like that external pressure, but the internal pressures of me on myself in high school. Oh, geez. In college. Sorry about that. In high school and in college, much more than in the NFL. Like now granted in college, there's a story of, I got like $40,000 out in student loans so we could go have fun, me and my friends, you know what I mean? Cause I was on a full scholarship for kicking balls. I got out there was this late night. I got home from, I don't know, maybe it was Penny Pitchers or Drink to Your Drown Thursday, or maybe $5 all you get, whatever. I got home from something and there was a commercial on the TV and it was like, hey, you can get a loan right now, basically, if you're a student. I got in there and I got like a $15,000 loan. And literally 3 days later, I had the money. Now, granted, it was like a 40% interest rate. And I mean, it was absurd and it was a terrible decision, but I did that until I got like 40 grand. So I was still trying to enjoy life and have a good time. But the internal pressures for sure much more in college and high school than once I finally got a paycheck in the NFL. Yeah, absolutely. Because you just don't want to blow it, because I had the leg strength to do it. Everybody on earth knew that if I was able to kick balls well, I could make a living doing this. It was just whether or not I was going to be able to do it. And I was able to ride the coattails of a lot of really incredible football players to a lot of big moments, made some kicks, missed some kicks, did some things, lost some awards, won some awards. But yeah, I was stressing a bit, through high school and college, probably so much so that I wasn't able to really enjoy everything that was going on, I think. You know what I mean?
What's interesting about that is I can relate to that kind of pressure and to wanting to make it and be rich or whatever. But I was too afraid. Like in college, I had no friends, and that was self-inflicted because I locked myself. I know you're going to make a joke here, but I just locked myself in my room because I was like, I need to graduate and get this broadcasting degree so that I can go on to be Costas and Marv Albert. You had that dream, you had that aspiration, but you also partied a lot and drank a lot. And so you could have been the reason why you didn't become rich. Why would you be so focused and have this dream at a young age to make it and succeed, but then also hurt yourself by acting a fool?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I have a pretty good time. I enjoy having a good time, but also just because I was kicking balls in college doesn't mean that that's necessarily how I was going to make a lot of money. I mean, it was a setup for me. I also knew that there's a huge aspect of like living, like you got to live and enjoy your life and make friends and meet people and see things. And although I had a pretty tight circle, I wanted to experience college as much as I could. Now, I do believe that I could have focused a lot more. All right. Hindsight is obviously 50-50. Cam Newton said that. But honestly, when I look back on it, there were some reckless decisions being made in college, classic college decisions, especially for somebody that was on his team as good as we were. And I think, I mean, there's a hilarious story about after my junior year, I missed 2 kicks in the first quarter of a game against our biggest rival. And if we would have won that game, we would have ended up going to the national championship. We would have won the national championship that year with the team we had. I missed 2 kicks in the first quarter. We ended up losing 13-9. So, I mean, death threats come at me a whole lot. I literally almost disappear. Like, this is pre-social media. I hopped in my Jeep at the time that could barely go the speed limit on a lot of roads. And I just drove for like 7 hours east. I ended up deep in Maryland and then down into Virginia or whatever. And I was just going to disappear because I felt like I let down everybody. You know, I let down not only my family, my school, but my teammates who were my best friends at the time, my roommates and everything like that. And there was an experience, you know, those next couple weeks that I got a chance to have. And it may or may not have been with some mushrooms or whatever. And it seemed like the world came in much clearer. And I kind of focused in. My friends and I kind of all made a decision for me. You know, I was like, hey, let's just focus in and see it. You know, I got 1 year left now, my senior year. Let's see if we can make it. Let's dial it in. And I wish I would have done that for 4 years. But then if I would have, I wouldn't have some of the memories I have with the incredible people of West Virginia for the first 3 years. So there's a couple moments that really made me lock in and focus. And I think it all revolves around that 13-9 night against Pitt, where I thought about never seeing people again for a while. You know what I mean? And then everything kind of changed after that, focused in, and, you know, my life has really changed since then.
Apex of your NFL career. What, like, when were you at your happiest? When did you feel like, oh my, like I have reached the mountaintop here? What is that moment?
So I told Jim Irsay this whenever I told him I was going to retire. I said, I always thought that once I got to the top of the mountain, the view would be so good that I would be enjoying it, you know, because being a punter, I was a kicker and a punter in college, but punter in college, I would just run to the right like an Aussie style and I'd kick it and the ball would roll. I wasn't really a punter. I was a kicker. And when you're kicking, you're scoring goals. When I was a soccer player, I was a goal scorer. I mean, it was like, then when you become a punter full time, it's like, okay, you're literally going out there when the offense fails. You're sending the ball to the other team. It's a calculated turnover. At home games, you're getting booed when you're going on the field because your offense has failed. That's why you're punting. Away games, I'm getting cheered. So I didn't necessarily love the culture of being a punter from my entire athletic days. You know, like I didn't necessarily love it, but I enjoyed the incredible opportunity with my teammates. And I was a part of something much bigger than myself, especially with the Colts. Peyton Manning was my teammate. Dallas Clark was my teammate. Joseph Adai was my teammate. It was Gary Brackett. It was a dream come true, but my role wasn't necessarily something that I'd ever been used to in the entire sports world. So I just did my job. And I always thought to myself, like, if I get great at this, I'll enjoy it. I'll enjoy it. And I did. I enjoyed the process of getting great. I enjoyed the late nights going to the indoor practice facility at like 12:30 at night, 1 a.m, trying to learn how to punt. Security is coming up to the building. Who the fuck is in here? Oh, it's Pat. Like, I enjoyed that process. And then I told Jim Irsay, once I got to the top of the mountain, multiple time Pro Bowl, All Pro, probably should have been voted more, to be honest with you, but people don't really know what they're talking about. I told Irsay that I didn't enjoy the view as much as I thought I would whenever I got to the top. For whatever reason, it was like all the work that I put in to become the guy. Once I got up there, it was like, oh, it's still the same world. I love my teammates. I love my coaches. I just kind of got to the point where it was like, maybe this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. Even though I've gotten everybody out of debt with my NFL money, I've gotten a chance to hit the reset button for a lot of people. I've gotten a chance to experience a lot of things. I have money accrued and saved. I have some investments. The NFL was a perfect starting point for my adult life. I was very lucky and still a massive fan, but I think the mountaintop, I don't know. I think maybe the first Pro Bowl I got voted into, where I was like allowing others to almost empower my feelings. And then when I finally got voted into the Pro Bowl, I went to the Pro Bowl, got to meet all the other studs, you know, got a chance to learn about it. And I think that was maybe the highest high. I mean, I kicked off a Super Bowl, but I was scared to death because I had no idea how to punt at that point. That was my rookie year. So I didn't even really get to enjoy that because I was like, I do not want to be the reason we fucking lose this game. So I think probably the first Pro Bowl is probably the highest I had felt in the NFL personally, from a personal standpoint, as opposed to team wise. But even then it was like, all right, still a job. Got to fucking keep getting better, you know, because once you get on top, that's really when the work starts, you know, because now you got to stay there.
Right. So when you realize that the top of the mountain isn't what you thought it was going to be, is that ultimately what kind of starts, you know, the decision of you walking away? I know you had an issue with the GM at the time, and you maybe weren't all that happy. And he's like getting mad at you for Instagram posts and all this nonsense. But like once you realize that this isn't what you thought it was going to be, is that when you start thinking, okay, maybe I should call it a career?
I think so. And by that point, I got drafted into the Bill Polian, Jim Caldwell was the coach, Peyton Manning was the quarterback. And that regime was just like, I mean, I walked into the winningest decade in NFL history, literally got drafted into the winningest decade in NFL history to a position that I didn't really fully know yet, you know? So it was a lot of pressure, but getting a chance to watch them work was just so awesome. You know, it's like watching people at that super high level work. It taught me so much. Like I still carry a lot of the shit that I've learned from either Adam Vinatieri or Peyton Manning or Joseph Adai or Clint Session, these guys off the field into what I do now. And then when the new regime came in, and just like anything, they kind of want to make it their own. So they literally cut everybody, including Peyton Manning. I mean, his ass got cut. Everybody got cut. And I was one of the guys that stuck around. I think it's because Irsay liked me so much. Like me and Irsay bonded over a lot of things, especially whenever I got the public intoxication. And then on the other side of that, I wasn't drinking at all. I still don't really drink much at all. And I think Jim, we kind of had a kindred spirit thing almost, where he would come to practice, we start talking. So they tried to get rid of me. As soon as my contract was up, I went into my contract year. Grigson was there for the first year. He was the GM. Chuck was there. That was my contract year, their first year, which is supposed to be like your most important year. And it was, I mean, I obviously was not liked by the new people because I was kind of associated with the old regime. I think they kind of wanted me out of there, but Chuck and my coaches, I think, liked me because they got a chance to work with me on a daily basis. So I do believe those interactions with the front office and kind of a brand new building happening kind of led to me thinking like, oh, maybe this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. And then I just started like, you know, unrolling there. Like everything started kind of rolling itself out for me. You know, I had like 3 knee surgeries in 4 years. I was going through rehab. I was only getting better though on the field. It was still a little bit of, you know, tensions between me and the GM. And I just was like, you know, fuck it. Like, this isn't what I want to sign up for. I almost retired like 3 different years. And then I finally did it almost, you know, I feel like to myself when I retired, it was like, I finally did what I had been wanting to do for the last couple of years. And although my teammates, I think, missed me there early and my coaches missed me, I think everybody now at this point is incredibly happy for me, you know?
Thank you for watching this portion of the Ariel Helwani Show. For the entire conversation, I do suggest you check it out. Click here.